Welcome to the FN Studios. I am John Ramteen, and this is Fight News Now. Coming up in the next hour, Robin Black joins me in studio as we go over the latest news in mixed martial arts, including several very interesting fight announcements. Plus, we'll take a closer look at UFC 197 with an extended preview of John Jones versus OSP. All that and more in this edition of Fight News Now, and it starts pronto. Hey everybody, John Ramteen with you alongside my pal Robin Black, and of course the big news that's going on right now, a tweet made by Conor McGregor. Is he going to retire? He says he wants to retire young. Thanks for all the cheese, I'm assuming, in reference to all the money he has made. Is this just a tactic by the Notorious One, considering that George St. Pierre says he's been in talks with the UFC? However, he does have an existing contract, but because of the Reebok deal, that wasn't in place when he was active. He goes back to the drawing board to make more money. If he comes back to the octagon, it's going to be for a lot of cheddar. Conor McGregor, does he not want a piece of that?
Well, since you started the conversation by saying the big news, a tweet, the fact that anybody can send a tweet and that can be the big news lets you know what kind of leverage they have. For real, man. I can't go to work and send out a tweet and affect everything around my job, and neither can anybody watching this. This guy can do that. This guy did that today. We're talking about it, and at the time that we're sitting here and having this conversation is not very long after he sent out that tweet, and everybody's talking about it. So why is it, well, what are some of the possibilities? The most logical ones are somewhere in the realm of publicity and leverage. The most logical things.
Or both.
Or both. And someone who is like, look, I have the leverage. We've agreed to do 200 in principle, but I want more money or power or whatever people want. I will send out a 40 or 50 character tweet. The whole world will go crazy, and I'll go, look at my phone and your phone and everybody's phone. Just give me the money.
Yeah.
That's the most logical scenario.
Now, again, there's so many things going on in Conor McGregor's life. Of course, we look back at him suffering that loss at the hands of Nathan Diaz. The rematch, a huge fight at UFC 200, so big, as a matter of fact, that it is the main event over the 145-pound interim title fight between Frankie Edgar and Jose Aldo. We all know, we all have a feeling it's going to be the undisputed championship down the road. But also the fact that Conor McGregor was cage side after one of the fighters died at Cage Warriors. Yeah. So he is definitely front and center. You put this tweet out and the world is going to be talking. Do you really anticipate it's just leverage? I mean, the UFC has already said he's got a lot of leverage because of the nature of Conor McGregor.
Yeah, Friday they have a press conference on UFC 200 that a guy just sent out a tweet that may have thrown it all into jeopardy. One, it would be like, let's just give him the money that he wants. And two, it's like, actually, this has helped get people talking. These guys were going to talk about Bellator earlier. What were we going to talk? We were going to talk about Ben Henderson today. Yeah. And then this guy put a tweet out, and now we're talking about this. Good on you. I mean, I've made it no secret that I'm a fan of this guy as an analyst, as someone who loves the martial arts, but he's also a very curious guy, very curious individual. He has the ability to excite many people and just frustrate others, just make them hate him. And that is a very powerful thing. It's a powerful thing, and it's a thing that provides with a lot of leverage. But when you can go out and write a bunch of characters and send it off into the world, and everybody goes crazy, when you go back to your boss or your manager goes, by the way, just give him a couple extra dollars. Look what he can do.
When you look at what's going on in MMA right now, you brought up Ben Henderson, who's going to be fighting for the Bellator 170-pound championship against Andrei Koreshkov on Friday night. If he wins, Bellator champion, former WEC champion, former UFC lightweight champion, serious accolades.
How many people can he affect with a tweet?
Yeah, I don't think very many people, but how many people in the sport of mixed martial arts can affect people? Maybe Ronda, obviously Conor, maybe George St. Pierre. I don't know, a guy like Michael Bisping. Does the world stop if Michael Bisping puts a tweet out saying that he's decided that his body has gone through too much? I'm going to focus on movies. I'm out of the sport of MMA.
I don't know. And I think that is the whole point here. And hey, there could be something else. The guy might have just blown out his knee.
Yeah.
There could be anything. But the fact of the matter is you've listed a very short list of people that have stood out in their abilities. Now, on that list are Ronda, who's a brilliant fighter, was only ever beaten once. Conor, who in the UFC has only been beaten once, is a brilliant fighter. George St. Pierre in the UFC, he was beaten twice, beat those people.
Avenged those losses,
So when you can bring together that ability to capture people's imagination, and that includes the people who are like, this guy's overhyped, I told you Ronda was overhyped. That's capturing their imagination. Listen, if you're going on to YouTube and Twitter and Reddit and stuff, and you are writing many, many things about how someone sucks, you're buying into it too. You're buying into it too. This is a powerful thing. And it's a very interesting thing. Personally, I never used to care about that. I care about the fights in there. But it is impossible to ignore the impact of this kind of thing. And also, bear in mind, Conor McGregor, the fact that he is doing this right now shows you some inkling into his brilliance. That brilliance could be at play for any number of things. Oh, the walking around playing Muhammad Ali mind games failed against this guy. Maybe I'll try some new ones. Maybe I'll pretend I'm quitting. Maybe I'll play a different role. Who knows, man? But by the time Friday rolls around and that press conference for UFC 200 live right here on Fight Network at 5 p.m. Yeah, we're drawn into it now. By the time that thing rolls around, nobody's going to be talking about Ben Henderson. I can't believe we're almost talking about Ben Henderson.
Yeah, what's the thing about it is, yes, we recognize there's a lot of big names in mixed martial arts. Conor and Ronda are two of the biggest. George St. Pierre, but there's others thrown into that mix. Nathan Diaz getting a lot of heat right now.
Absolutely,
because of
rightly so.
Nick Diaz's brother. There's a lot of fighters right now, but none that are on the level of Conor McGregor or Ronda Rousey. And the reason why I brought up Ben Henderson is because there seems to be a shift. We've been told that Bellator has made a great offer to Rory McDonald, so it comes down to contract negotiating. For Conor McGregor, you want to try to make as much money as humanly possible, even if you have a contract in place. Do you expect other fighters to, take a page out of his book, so to speak?
Yeah, and again, it's what's your power. That's all measurable now. This is a different time, whether you're an athlete, whatever your job is. If you go and you sell ice cream, we can measure how much ice cream you sell, to whom, how much you influence the culture when you do it. And those are the metrics by which people get paid. Those are the metrics by which you go and say, this is what I'm worth. Another one is when another company offers you a large sum of money, that's your new metric. The UFC will then have to match it. But we're seeing a different time in fighter pay, and it's not unlike any other job in the world. The very, very best are getting the bulk of the pay. That is true in every type of job in the world, and that's true in what we're seeing now. What's going to happen with Conor McGregor by the time we have this chat tomorrow? There'll already be a whole bunch of new variables because the guy's going to play us like puppets. And I don't even like that kind of thing. But I enjoy this guy's ability to manipulate. It is very fascinating. It's very rare and very unique.
Do you expect any other fighters to try to renegotiate their contract? If you're a commodity, I'll use the example of Thomas Almeida or Cody Garbrandt, guys that we believe that are going to be stars in the future. You see that they have the abilities, they have drive, they're very, very young in their MMA career. You sign a 4 or a 6 fight contract, 4 fights in, do they go back and say, hey, I want to re-up, or does the UFC pursue it and say, hey, before this contract expires and some of the other suitors come looking, let's give you money right now?
Yeah, and these are the things as we're all sitting back and we're like, why did the UFC do this? Why didn't they do that thing? What's going on? Why didn't they? These are some of the smartest business minds in combat sports. There's always a reason. And what you just laid out is exactly the brilliant approach you would take if you see Garbrandt or Almeida, whether they're smashing everybody, whether they have a country behind them, or whether suddenly Paige Van Zandt, when it's time, she's 2 fights away, they're going to offer her a lot more money because all of a sudden you have all of this influence. Paige Van Zandt, Cody Garbrandt, I think they dated at one time, I'm not sure. He may just keep beating everybody, whereas she adds to her social media influence. That shouldn't affect your job. It shouldn't affect any of our jobs, but it does. And it is an aspect of it. But we're in a little different time. If you're interested in the business of it, and there are people at Forbes who write about how the business is going, it's very interesting because there is a shift in how this business is going. People will get paid more. Fighters and fans who've been asking for them to get get paid more for a long time, you're probably going to see it over the next year or two.
And they're a serious shift. All you have to do is look at Fight Pass, for example. You had Anderson Silva, Michael Bisping on that card, and now the UFC Lightweight Championship of the World, RDA, Eddie Alvarez. Do you believe this is a good move?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Fight Pass all the time, but not everybody is. So if you go and you put on some big star on there that gets to the regular population, they might not get it. But if you're a big fight fan, RDA and Eddie Alvarez is someone you want to see. Those are the fight fans that'll go, if you don't have Fight Pass, we're going to make you get it this time. It's smart.
And don't forget, UFC 197 is going down this weekend. Tune in to FN this Thursday at 6 p.m. as we present a 1-hour preview show leading into all the action going down in Sin City.